Good evening, welcome back to the One Celtic Fans View on Tuesday the 9th of September. Quite a few things to talk about tonight. One of the most important things is the 420 fans, forums, fans, sites and fan media that have put together the open letter to Celtic FC, and we're going to tell you exactly what it says and the questions that the fans are asking in the open letter to Celtic. So make sure you stick around and engage with the video for that. First of all, Celtic TV, as I said they would do. Let's sit back, relax, and Celtic were going to put out love bombs of new players that come in, as they would always do after the transfer window. They are doing nothing different. They are just putting out the exact same content as they would put out anyway. It's business as usual as far as Celtic are concerned. And today they put out an interview with Kelechi, and he's glad to be at Celtic. He's glad to be at Celtic. An exclusive interview with Kelechi, and he says at the beginning of the week, Kelechi was he arrived at the club, officially began settling in as a Celtic player, getting to work with Lennoxtown training ground. Speaking to his first exclusive interview as Celtic striker, he expressed his delight at reuniting with the former manager and former teammate in Kasper Schmeichel, who he played with at Leicester. He knows a couple of the guys, and he knows some of the staff as well. It's the same as here as it was at Leicester. I found myself next to him in the changing room. It's a bit of a deja vu meeting Kasper again. He's a friendly guy, he's a great leader, and it's great to see him at this club. Brendan has been really massive and really important in my career. Obviously, he looked after me when I was at Leicester. He gave me a good opportunity to show my talent and help the team. He's a manager that is a great person. I'm happy to play for him again, and I'm happy to be a Celtic player and play for this great club. Let's not forget that. It's hard. It's sometimes when you see all the negativity that is aimed at the club, and the media will jump all over it as they are. It's great to see that a player is excited to be here, because everyone's of the opinion that, it was all last minute buys, it was all panic merchant stuff, and it was players that weren't meant to be here. But it's one guy that is, so I think we should all just be happy that he's here. I want to join and win trophies. I wanted to join and win trophies. That's why I'm here. I want to be part of it. I want to play my part, and I want to do that. I remember playing against Celtic in the Champions League. I scored for Manchester City. Obviously, Paddy Roberts was playing for them at that time. He scored also. Celtic Park was loud that night. I can't wait for that. Did Brendan not tell you we fucked up the Champions League, mate? Shh, don't tell him. Until he walks out and he sees the 3/4 full stadium and listens to the music, he'll go, whoa, that's not the Champions League. Anyway, tonight, the North Curve Celtic puts out the full list of signatures to the open letter to Celtic Park. After the disastrous transfer window and the failure to qualify for the Champions League, Celtic supporters once again calling for urgent action to address the clear structural problem within the club. We demand full transparency from the board regarding its repeated failure to back the manager, reinvest our money into playing squads. We also demand accountability, and we want to take into account as a collective failure does not happen again. In addition to that, we want to highlight more of the club's lack of coherent fan engagement strategy and call for a progressive, innovative approach to working with supporters. That's not calling for the heads of the board, is it? That's not. There seems to be a calming of the sack the board call. It's where they see engagement rather than all-out war. Because let's face it, that's what the media kind of wanted. The media would want all-out war. They would want us to be at loggerheads with each other. And it's another cracking statement. The next part of the statement does read as follows, and it's the questions that they want answered. What is the club's long-term football strategy, and when and how will this be communicated to the supporters? Why has there been no investment in critical positions despite repeated pleas from the manager, obvious weaknesses in the squad and calls from supporters? What is the accountability measures that are in place for repeated failures in transfer dealings? This is when you get into the nitty-gritty of trying to force someone has to take the blame, and there has to be a fall guy. And, we'll see what happens. How do you intend to modernise the club's structure to compete in Europe? And why are we consistently unprepared for the qualifying stages? When will supporters receive the results of the fan survey? The Celtic board did not like the outcome of, so they're trying to analyse the data and restructure the data in a format that will make them look good. It was over a year ago since the fan survey. These have not been released despite being in the club's possession for several months. Why have results of the Fair First inquiry not been made public, and what action will the club take to protect the supporters from unlawful and disproportionate policing in the future? Now, remember back before one of the Glasgow derbies last season, the police surrounded Celtic fans that were down at the Celtic Supporters Association, and they demanded that people take off face masks, take off scarves in front of their face, and were searched before they were allowed to go to Celtic Park. Meanwhile, the Union Bears and the Rangers fans marched to Celtic Park, fully covered faces, scarves covering their faces, snoods, hoodies, hats, the lot. They want answers. And then the final question to the board is, why does the club continue to resist working with supporters to improve the matchday atmosphere? Supporter experience and consultation is key, such as ticket pricing and distribution, which is interesting. And I think that is a really measured set of questions that they have asked, that they're asking the board. It is not all out war. It is not all out, we want rid of you and that is the answer. They're being very, very clever about it. And this makes the Celtic statement look like it was just, it is unbelievable. This is a very measured and articulate response to Celtic. It's now been a year since any form of meaningful communication between Celtic and the Celtic board and supporters. For clarity, this means clear, open, transparent dialogue across the support, not confirmed and carefully selected representatives behind closed doors. Fans have repeatedly demanded positive engagement and repeatedly are being ignored. The time for silence is over. Fans' organisations, the affiliate of registered Celtic supporters clubs, the Association of Irish Celtic Supporters Clubs, the Boys Celtic, the Celtic Supporters Association, the Celtic Trust, the Green Brigade, the North American Federation of Celtic Supporters Clubs, North Curve Celtic. Fan media sites, is every single fan media site out there, including myself. We are on that. That equates to quite a lot of Celtic fan base on its own, considering the likes of Ryan118 has 50 odd thousand subscribers. And yes, we know, and I've got 23,000 subscribers, and we know that we don't speak for every single one out there. And let's just put this out there. I put my name to this because I believe that it's right. And I know that every single supporter may not agree with the way that things have maybe been conducted. But hopefully after this fantastic piece that we've just read and the questions that have been asked of the board, it may not split the fans as the board may thought it would. It may actually hold together the fan base as a whole, because it isn't calling for blood. It isn't asking for immediate sackings. It wants answers. And that's all you can do The number of people that are on this list is fantastic. I mean, it's 11 pages of all the Celtic Supporters Club around Scotland. The Coventry Emerald, fantastic bus. The Cowdenbeath Flying Column, cracking bus. Do you know, East Kilbride Celtic Symphony, CFC. There is the Highlands bus, Haddington bus, Hardgate bus, Harrow Shamrock, Inverness Lions, Irvine number 1 CSC. The list goes on. This is not just half a dozen, a couple of hundred Celtic fans that are calling for this. There are over 365 clubs. The Washington DC Celtic Supporters Club. The list, I'll put a link to it on the community tab. I think that we have never ever seen or saw a togetherness from the Celtic support the way that we do now. I have said for years that the biggest thing that harms Celtic at times is the way that the Celtic supporters clubs are run, and not every club sees the same, and every club has their own agenda and they pull in different directions. This is fantastic. This is what being Celtic is about. Having people from all around the world. The Perth Celtic Supporters Club in Australia. The Paul McStay Celtic Supporters Club in Derry. Do you know, there's not just clubs in Scotland, England, Wales, Ireland. It's people from all around the world. Little Beirut CSC Portland. Do you know, some of these clubs. The Joseph Rafferty CSC. We stand united as a support. And long may that continue. Long may that continue, because together we can achieve more. And yes, ultimately we won't change. But this load of questions that we're asking the board, what is the long-term football strategy? There doesn't seem to be one. Doesn't seem to be one at all. You know, why has there been no investment in critical positions? Despite repeated pleas for the manager. We still haven't replaced Kyogo. We still haven't replaced the left back position in adequate form. Bringing in loan players. I mean, we could sit here tonight and we all know the positions that needed strengthened. We didn't bring in a holding midfield player that we thought we were going to bring in. We were named with umpteen holding midfield players. Do you know? And yes, Chris, you've got it in one. We're just looking for honesty from those responsible on how our club is run. And that is it. That's all we want. We just want that little bit of honesty from the club. And it's something that the fans do not feel that they've had. Do you know? And I am glad that tonight we sit on the eve of a meeting when as many of these 420 Celtic supporters clubs will meet up in the shadow of Celtic Park, like fans have done for many a decade, to talk about the future of the club. This could be one of the biggest moments in the recent Celtic history. Because this is the turning point that we all want. There's no turning back from this position. There is no turning back at all. We can all stamp our feet as much as we want, but we don't like it, fuck all, be done. Yes, exactly. And I think that the togetherness makes you feel proud tonight. Because it's not about marching up to the front doors of Celtic Park like what the media think is going to happen. Sack the board, protest outside Celtic Park. It's a way more measured, a way more calculated, a way more thoughtful and intelligent. It is 2025, and the Celtic fans' organisations are playing an absolute blinder. An absolute blinder. You've got someone at Celtic that's been in the position of PR. That in its own, that title, in any organisation in the modern day, the PR man, that should be gone and hidden in the remnants of some old dusty file 13 drawer and never to be seen again. Because public relations in its old Tory form, that's public relations to me is an old dude in a suit that is so out of touch. Oh wait, that's Celtic. That is Celtic. Unbelievable. But there's restraint and a clear vision. We are smarter together than those rodents. Yes, we are. And those questions are absolutely fantastic. Just don't irritate the Celtic squad on the park. No, they won't do that. I believe it will get answers. We will have Brendan and the squad. We are just Celtic. Danny Cassie says, I'm going to say that we need a new striker to score about 20 goals. Yeah, we all knew that before. Paul Baird says that the board, the strategy and the board support the police. Yeah, and this is part of the issue that the fans have. Let me just jump back some of these comments. Oh, see, there's always one. There's always one. Stephen, you're obviously not part of any Celtic supporters club or any of the organisations. Stephen says, we need to part this until January. We can't change the team right now. We're not going to change the team right now. We need to back them or our enemies are loving this, and it takes the spotlight off the other half's worst start to the season in decades. We're at a point of no return, mate. I mean, the organisations that are on here, I mean, there's 8 fan organisations. And the fact that you've got the major fans organisations, the club will take notice to the fact that the North American Federation of Celtic Supporters have stepped on board with this. That is a big one. That's massive as far as they're concerned. If you think about when they have the gig at Vegas and Celtic send over ex-players and they send over a team with all the trophies, they fly the trophies over to Vegas. This is how important they see that group of supporters, how influential. You know, when they go over to America, it's this North American Federation of Celtic Supporters that do a lot of the fundraising for the Celtic charity events that are over there. There is a very influential bunch of people that have jumped on top of this. So to say that we need to park it, we are not going to park it. It will not be parked. The fact that you then have 56 fan media sites, and then you have over 365 Celtic supporters clubs. This is a bandwagon that will not stop overnight until it gets answers, and rightly so. The Dice O'Reilly CSC Glasgow, the Detroit Celtic Supporters Club, right under the Derry Celtic Supporters Club, Drumchapel number 1, you know, Chicago Celtic Supporters Clubs, Celtic Supporters Club of Norway. The names that have put the Celtic supporters clubs around the world that have put their name to this will shock Celtic. And me, for one, I'm glad, because it's all about getting answers. The organisations, let me just see this. Where did that go? Shout out to the Bobby Hollywood Daroon CSC. There you go. I was there in Vegas in June. The turnout for the fans, thousands at the convention. Yeah, it's a massive convention. Don't know. Thousands of Celtic fans taking part in an event in North America. It's not to be laughed at, and the Celtics board tonight will have to take notice. They will have to take notice. But anyway, gone too far. Park it now, says Martin. How's it gone too far? See, it's people like Graham Martin that obviously aren't part of any of these, and it's not gone too far. If you think it's gone too far, well, you're obviously on the side of the board and think that the board are doing a grand job. But thankfully, the Celtic fans are together as a majority. And it's they speak for thousands and thousands of fans. When you think of all those buses have WhatsApp groups. Those buses will have spoke to their members, and do we all back this? As a majority, do we back this? And of course they do. They wouldn't put their name to this if they didn't have a majority on every single bus. These buses don't have 5 or 6 people on it. You're talking about supporters clubs that have one 50-seat bus. Some of them might run smaller buses. There's some of them out there that are running 3 or 4 buses to Celtic games. You're talking about thousands and thousands of Celtic supporters. You're not talking about 365. You're talking about tens of thousands of fans. You know? Tens of thousands of fans sticking together. Each to their own. Baz, all for one and one for all. The fact is that it's happening. It's absolutely fantastic as far as I'm concerned. And I've never seen Celtic support as united en masse the way that it has done now. Let me just get this. It's not gone far enough. If anything, our support have been too tolerant up until now. This hasn't happened overnight. It's criminal. A culmination of it is criminal, and it's a culmination of years of neglect. It is that. Yeah, it's gone. Yeah, it has. It's gone too far to back down now. It's gone far too far to back down. You can't back down. Do you know, if the Celtic fans now back down, they get a free rein in the next transfer window, and nothing changes. Ultimately, what needs to happen is Celtic need to come out and say it was either a collective failing. This is how it has to play out. It's either a collective failing, and a number of people got things wrong over a period of time, or it comes down to Tisdale, it comes down to Nicholas, and it comes down to the finance guy. Which one is it? One of you are going to have to be a fall guy. Hopefully they'll all be the fall guys. Ultimately, a lot of the Celtic supporters will want to get rid of them all. But the reality of the situation is we can't. The reality of the situation is that even though we have all these fantastic Celtic supporters clubs from all around the world, Sean South, Limerick CSC, Serbia Celtic Supporters Club, Shanghai Celtic Supporters Club, unbelievable. St Andrews and District Celtic Supporters Club, that's a fantastic little bus. And they bought that, and this is what I mean. The St Andrews bus actually bought their minibus, so they didn't have to hire a minibus. They bought their own minibus for games. I think it was a 16-seater or something. They bought that. This is people that have a big financial invested interest in Celtic on a weekly basis. This isn't people that go to 1 or 2 games. This isn't people that, you know what, I'm going to go to the Derby game. I've had a season ticket all year, but I just go to the Derby game. Just fucking big team. This is people that go week in, week out, that spend thousands of pounds over the space of a couple of months. I mean, they spend over £1,000 a month going to Celtic games. And people will say, fucking crazy. But that's what they do. It's their life. A lot of these buses and a lot of the people that go every single week, the only bus I'd maybe call out is the Tony Mowbray Celtic Supporters Club in Maryhill. It's maybe the worst name to have. I'm kidding, guys. I'm kidding. Just the worst manager. But it is fantastic that we get all these organisations together and we can all go in the same direction. So, on a plus side, we get rid of the board. Yeah, on the plus side, probably a tour bus every other day. Political I'll just jumping into some of these comments. Just catching up with that. So yeah, that is the Celtic news tonight, and that's where Celtic fans are at. It's now centre stage to the organisations tomorrow night, and I don't think that they'll come out with a statement tomorrow night. There will be leakages of what happened at the meeting tomorrow night all over social media by the end of the meeting. We will have some kind of idea on what the organisations are going to do next. There will be some agreement on the night. The chance and the issue for the meeting tomorrow is to iron out any objections to anything that may be suggested, and maybe any alternative suggestions that may come up will then be looked at. But anyway, it's all about waiting for tomorrow night. Get that out of the way, and I'm sure they will put out a statement on the Thursday, around about the same time that Celtic will wheel out a player. Celtic news wise, there's not a lot of other Celtic news than that. Ange Postecoglou obviously taking up a job down south, and yeah, it's just a sit and wait game, isn't it? Just a sit and wait and see what happens, and then we'll all look forward to Friday. Let me just see, what was that? Tisdale, the comms guy. Yeah, I think that's the main ones. Tisdale and the comms guy will go. And so the case can be only one person doing a job completely incompetent. I think that, let me just see. Yeah, Jim, it is. It's the people who have Celtic in their heart and blood. It is that. Let me just, could you post links? Yes, I will do. I'll post the link right now. I'll give you it here. Just give me 2 seconds. I'll post it on this video. And then I'll also post it in the community tab. It is on Twitter. But you'll be able to open it up and have a look at it. And I'll put it in the community tab also. And it's just great. The 80s was a riot for Celtic fans. What was that? Anyway, have an absolutely fantastic evening, Celtic fans, wherever you are. All united around the world. Every single one of us united. It is absolutely fantastic. Love it. Absolutely love it.